Hello there, and let the legendary catching continue. As we find ourselves in Pinwheel Forest, we're on our way to catch Virizion, the second of the Three Musketeers Pokemon. Now, I said there are 3 Musketeers, and there is, but there is actually like a 4th legendary Pokemon called Caldeo, which is meant to be like the 4th Musketeer. Unfortunately, you won't see him in this LP because he's sort of an event Pokemon. And I suppose I could have used a code to have him just appear in the wild or something, but I didn't really see the point of doing that. You know, if I can't catch him legitimately, just having him appear using a code is kind of lame. Anyway, around this corner here is the TM Solar Beam. Now, I remember in Gen 1 that used to be the most powerful grass type move, but it requires like a charge up time, which I wasn't really too happy about. Although saying that in Gen 1 you probably were better off using Razor Leaf because of the broken hit-crit ratio. But nevertheless, Solar Beam, I tell you what, if you can team up Solar Beam with Sunny Day, it becomes a really powerful move. And I'm particularly reminded of the Pokemon Ninetales, which has the ability to summon Sunny Day, and it can then Solar Beam. So right off the bat, it can spam this really powerful grass-type move. Ninetales is a badass. And I do like the surfing theme in this game. It's very adventurous, very upbeat. But anyway, up in this corner here we have the secret compartment, where we'll find our Virizion. You know, I'm just looking at the sort of entry I have on Virizion, and its special sprite is like bright pink. So yeah, and it kind of reminds me of a fairy type. Although the thing is, I guess fairy type and grass types will be sort of related to each other. Well, for a start, they're both weak to poison, which just makes sense because they're both meant to represent nature. But anyway, I suspect a lot of grass types will know fairy type moves, and a lot of fairy types will now know lots of grass type moves. In fact, one of the new fairy types revealed is essentially like this little fairy Pokemon on a flower. And I did wonder, is that going to be like a fairy grass type? But anyway, Virizion, I'm sending out Brooker. I'm using the same technique I did before. Use Growl to lower his attack. But I'll get cocky and try to use a Dusk Ball, because you never know, I could catch him in one shot. Now, of course, something I need to be wary of is the fact that he knows a grass type move. So I'm really being quite risky here. Yeah, I guess I kind of like Virizion's design, because his head kind of looks like a manta ray. It's very elegant. And of course he is also a fighting grass type, which honestly, yeah, 4 times weak against flying. It's not really a good combination. But like saying that, being a legendary, he can probably pull that off. Now, a bit of trivia about Virizion. Virizion has the highest special defense stat of all grass type Pokemon and fighting type Pokemon. So yeah, a good special defense wall there. Virizion is the only member of the Sword of Justice that is not weak against the types of any other members. I know what it means, because the other Musketeers is like a fighting Steel type and a fighting Rock type. And of course, being a fighting Grass type, it's actually resistant to fighting, so there you go. Despite being genderless, Virizion is referred to as a female in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Gates to Affinity. Okay, I guess it does look pretty girly. Yeah, that's the thing about legendaries, they're meant to be above gender, I suppose. Virizion is the only grass type legendary Pokemon that isn't an event Pokemon. Oh yeah, because of Cerebi and Charmin. And that's a good thing about the legendaries in this game, the fact that they're new type combinations. Or at least they're type combinations which haven't been used a lot before. Like fighting Steel, fighting Rock, fighting Grass. It's all, it's all appreciated. Like the free emotion trio from Gen 4, Mesprit and Uxie and that. Yeah, all 3 of them were Psychic types. And really they weren't really too dissimilar from each other. Like, they had different stats, they had slightly different moves, but yeah. You know, in this case, we have like a steel, rock, and grass type. All, you know, all 3 different types, and that's appreciated. You know, that was the good thing about the legendary trios in previous generations, like the 3 legendary birds, Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos. You know, that there were 3 different types. They had 3 different sort of characteristics. Oh, another bit of trivia. Virizion might be derived from Viridian, a bluish green colour, or simply Viridius, Latin for green, and possibly champion. So that's kind of yeah, I like that when Pokemon are given clever names, which might have like double meanings. A bit more trivia. Virizion appears to be based on the character of Aramis from the novel The Three Musketeers. Like Aramis, it is the best at swordplay. Aramis in the novels was also the most feminine, vain, and romantic. Qualities that Virizion possesses relative to its comrades. It physically resembles antelopes, which it does, such as the Gerenuk or other species of gazelle. It may also be based on female deer, like its comrades. Its nose resembles that of a sheep. So yeah, a general mix of woodland creatures there. Pretty cool. Now, something I said, these Pokemon are clearly based off the Three Musketeers. Clearly, you know, who would miss that? But it's something which you don't really see until you see like the Pokemon movies, because it actually shows the Pokemon in the movies using its special sword attacks, and it's kind of weird when I first saw it, because these Pokemon can actually have lightsaber swords coming out of their heads. I was like, what? Of course, when I saw that, I was thinking, yeah, the Three Musketeers comparison does make a lot more sense. And I guess I'm kind of using an electric attack here, hoping that he'll get paralysed. And also, I know it's not super effective, so I can sort of wear down his attack. And not to mention the fact that this Pokemon can actually heal. So, yeah, this one can... In theory, this could be the one that drags it the most. Unfortunately, no luck with the whole paralysing thing, but at least I'll try it a few timer balls here. You know, I always wondered in Pokemon, if they sort of threw a Pokeball at a Pokemon and it's sort of shaking, would the trainer have would it work if the trainer like went up to the Pokeball and sort of held it shut? It probably wouldn't. If you try that with a Virizion, it'd probably break out and like break your face. So yeah, Virizion is sort of giving me flashbacks to Shaman, especially when you consider it's sort of hidden in like a forest area, and of course again reminiscent of Cerebi. And according to its Pokédex entry, it is a grassland Pokemon, I suppose, yeah. Oh, will you just get in the Pokeball already? And, yeah, again, I guess the fact that this Pokemon is quite feminine does also complement the fact that his sprite is bright pink. Or her sprite is bright pink. Oh, that's it, Virizion. You really... Anyway, I do like Virizion. It's a good grass type. But saying that, I would rather stick with my Cumberbatch. Thank you very much. And I do have to wonder, do they put in these legendaries as a way to help you if you struggle with the Elite Four? Because I think that might be a good way of handling it. Like, the fact that he's a grass and fighting type Pokemon means he can be quite effective against a lot of the Elite Four. You know, he can beat ground and water type Pokemon, which the Elite Four do use. You know, fighting is good against one of the Elite Four. The fact that he's a grass type means he'll be resistant to fighting type moves, which is again good against the Elite Four. So if I had to pick one of them to go against the Elite Four, I would choose Virizion. And speaking of which, my policy of not using the legendaries in Pokemon LPs, I might change that. If some people say, "Oh, I want you to use this legendary," I just might. And I'm looking at his entry on Bulbapedia, and apparently he's 6 feet and 7 inches tall in Imperial, and 2 meters metric. And I'm also looking at his catch rate, and it's 0.4%. Well, he is a legendary. You know, if you want these special Pokemon, you're gonna have to put the effort in. I was thinking it'd be cool if they had like an item you could throw at Pokemon, which would induce a status. Of course, it would be illegal to use in competitive battles, but then again, it would probably make legendaries a bit. It would make legendary battles kind of pointless. If you could just like throw a net and they'll be paralysed or asleep or something. Nearly. You know, I do wonder if as the battle goes on, his resistance kind of falls, and he might become easier to catch. But I don't think that's the case. I think every time I throw a Pokeball, my chances are the same. You know, I'm not sure if any non-British people will get this, but there used to be like a series of Three Musketeer films. One with like Oliver Reed as one of the Musketeers, as well as like the guy who played Basil Exposition. But I just remember those as good movies. Unfortunately, there are movies that have had too many sequels. I think the last one in this series of Musketeer movies was called Le Femme Musketeer, which was about one of a female, essentially the daughter of a villainous character becoming a musketeer. And it's like, yeah, you're reaching. You know, what's next? The baby musketeer. The musketeers in space. I would watch that movie, The Musketeers in Space. But then again, there is a name for it. It's called Star Wars. Hopefully this should be the last one. Oh, finally! Oh, I really had to BS my way through that part. And here we have Virizion, and in the same theme of naming them after my favourite comedians or people who make me laugh, I've decided to name this one Parsons, after Andy Parsons, who, yes, also does appear on Mock the Week. So, yeah, there you go. Parsons is kind of like the shortest of the three, so yeah, I felt that suited him the most.